this what you were talking about?
What was I talking about? Oh, the webcam. That's a really nice chair there, Scott. By the way, I don't know if you saw me laughing.
Wish I had one.
Yeah.
My chair?
Huh? No, the gaming
Yeah, I
chair,
mean, if that's your chair,
the slight the slightly used
I
gaming
mean,
chair that you
I mean,
posted.
not my chair, the chair that I posted.
you got to put a picture of the chair in here, man.
Like
You
in
think?
the, I
Because
guess in my background.
it's it's
Oh,
really
oh,
awesome.
right
I
here,
mean,
right next to you.
that's like at first I thought that was a shit stain, but
I mean, who knows?
lightly
It's probably.
used nude gaming chair. Yeah, yeah, they definitely yeah.
I just,
They were definitely
I,
bare ass in that shit, man.
oh yeah.
But yeah, that's I don't know if that's not the one. That's not the cube one, Joe.
What you were talking about.
No. Oh, they had like a name for it. I can't remember. Hold up.
I
Let me see
still
if I
think
can
I've
find it.
seen it, but
Yeah, this little puppy right here. Let's see if I. Okay, wow. I just wanted the link. Damn it. There you go.
see,
This puppy.
that is the
It's
same thing.
it's called StreamCam.
Yeah,
Oh, it is. What
yeah.
the fuck? Or maybe it was just the front view on the damn thing. Oh, son of a bitch! It is. Yep. Nope. You're right. That was it. I'm retarded.
Okay.
But yeah,
But so
that
what was it at Staples? How much?
same price as this. It
Uh,
was 169.
169.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if I was ever gonna buy another webcam, um, I'd probably give this one a shot because supposedly it's DSLR level, but I highly doubt that. But who knows? Maybe I'll buy it and try it out. I could always use a second one anyway. But at any rate, uh, how was everyone's week?
It's
Good.
over.
It's over.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
you go.
Starts again next week, unfortunately, but you know.
So did y'all hear that the sky is falling?
No, I missed that memo. When's that supposed to happen?
It could be tonight or tomorrow at some point. That Chinese rocket.
Oh yeah, the one that they have no idea where it's going to come down. Yeah,
Yep.
that one.
Yep.
Interesting. I have not heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Someone mentioned that to me a couple days back. But yeah, that was interesting. Just like so it's moving so fast that they can't project its course or something.
Well, I mean, it is moving super fast. It's like 4 miles a second. It can like go around the Earth in like 90 minutes to 2 hours, under 2 hours.
Wow.
It can loop the entire Earth. But yeah, it's more that they didn't have any controls for getting it back down to Earth. Like we've all seen the Tesla, rockets landing and stuff. They have specific, rocketry and all to get it out to deorbit it. Whereas this actually entered orbit for a while, for like a few days, because they're basically trying to build a space station up there, and it had been in orbit for a few days, and now it's just kind of falling out, and they can't really predict where it's going to be because it's really hard to model exactly with all the like
Yeah.
forces involved. But if they had computers that were like sensing all that and they had it planned and like had enough fuel to get it down safely, then that wouldn't be as much of an issue. They could guarantee that it's going to land in the ocean rather than say a 2/3 chance that it's going to land in the ocean.
Well, they're just guessing at that because most of the planet's water anyway.
Right, based on its orbit, right? Like how much of that land over the orbit is just
Yeah.
straight up water. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. But yeah, I also wouldn't give Tesla too much credit. I mean, what they just finally landed the what is it the Starship they're calling it?
Yeah.
They finally had a successful landing instead of it crashing or blowing up.
Yeah, man.
But-
Pretty much.
But it is pretty standard for rockets to have a path downward. Like they try to plan out the paths for every piece that might be falling and stuff. But it's like the Chinese government or the Chinese industry that did this didn't really take that into consideration, or it wasn't a top priority or something.
No, they're
They
just like,
didn't.
oh, maybe it'll fall on the U.S. Ha ha, our bad.
Yeah, which is just kind of asking for trouble.
Well, that's
not
just
cool.
China's MO, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's just kind of what they
Kinda
do. I mean, look at the coronavirus. Oops, it got out. Our bad.
I don't know. That one's pretty tricky.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's conspiracy level tricky.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's probably a lot of information about that, and there's probably a lot of misinformation about all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I guarantee you, there's more misinformation than real information.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt about that. Did you ever get your Raspberry back up and working since you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just had to reset it basically. Just like completely factory reset it.
Oh, so you just put a new OS on a card and
And
went back to scratch, or?
I didn't even have to do that. I was able to reset it with the OS that was on the chip. Just completely wipe all the memory and stuff. It was able to do that.
Okay, but then you lost all that stuff that you had done, right? All the
Yeah,
coding?
but
Yeah,
it wasn't. It's all stuff I can do again. Like, just even just downloading RetroPie is like an event with the Raspberry Pi. But I'll have to do that again. But like whatever, big deal. I wrote like a little script, but I've already like been thinking about writing other little scripts to write on it and do it even better this time around.
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Improvement
Gotta do
every
it better.
time.
Yeah.
You gotta make it more pretty this time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or just have like more bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Because like one of the programs I wrote, it was just like a brightness control, but it was, pretty simple how it works, and it's neat to just do something like that on the Linux system where it uses like files and stuff. It literally like stores the brightness value in a file, and you grab that number and just change it, and it'll change the brightness of the screen, and it's pretty like amazingly simplistic yet effective.
Cool. I gotta move this window. 'Cause- There. Okay. I feel like I'm just like glaring off to the side looking at one of my monitors.
I'm probably going to be doing that too. I'm rocking a dual laptop setup.
Oh. You
Nice.
changed it. Did you finally repurpose one of the 17 that you have floating around?
No. Nothing that spectacular. Just my laptop is over here for like vetting information and looking things up. Looking up Space Ghetto pictures while we're
Space
you
Ghetto
know, in our downtime. No, but yeah, it's just my laptop, and then I'm on my Bay's laptop for filming.
We still use that term?
I
Filming?
guess it's kids these days, man. They don't even know what film is. Like, why do we call it film? What film is this? What film does it use? Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's really not a thing anymore.
yeah. Talk about obsolete.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
digital. I haven't done anything with my Raspberry in probably about, I don't know, almost a month now. I don't even think I've plugged
Yeah.
it in. It's like,
Oh man.
I've been so busy with work and everything else. It's just like nuts.
Oh yeah.
Was
My old ass games are just getting lonely now.
You're still doing like 7-day, 6-7 day weeks.
6-7 day weeks.
You've been working like 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes going in even on Sundays, even sometimes.
No,
Regular
I
thing.
don't work Sundays.
Oh, okay.
Nope, they can't pay me enough for that. Well, I'm sure they could, but they don't.
That's the Lord's day.
I'm pretty sure they could. There is a monetary value I could assign to a Sunday.
they just wouldn't pay it.
No. I'm like, I do have my limits. Anyway, welcome everybody to Technically Incorrect. I'm Rob, my co-host Joe up here. I'm probably pointing wrong, and Scott. Say hi, everybody.
Howdy.
No.
Joe.
Hey y'all.
Joe's the guy back there that's like really distant. I know it's right on my screen, so I don't know,
You're so distant, Joe.
but whatever.
I'm just
Like I have to yell for you to hear me.
Huh?
Huh? Yeah. It's like, yeah, thank God for having earpieces right next to each, right? Speaking of which,
All right.
I probably should do that. Hold on.
Headphones.
There we go.
Did y'all hear about the mushrooms on Mars?
Mushrooms.
We might have to take
Mushrooms
a
on Mars. Yeah,
Now I want to go to Mars even more.
right? Although it's
Yeah.
also like a reason to like get our asses off and like not and try to watch from afar, so that we don't, become a confounding factor in trying to observe that, which we arguably already have done, with our rovers up there.
I don't want to observe anything. I just want to eat the mushrooms that are on
Yeah, I
Mars.
was saying.
Could you
Want to be the
imagine?
first to experience that.
I know, right?
Magical
Might be
Mars.
death, but you'll still be the first to do it.
Yeah, just think,
Yeah,
man.
I
I mean, they might give you superpowers.
Who knows, man?
No, man, you just trip balls for days.
I mean,
Oh hell,
alternative.
I've done that before.
Martian days, which I think are slightly longer.
Oh.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe they're
Wouldn't-
shorter.
wouldn't want to. No. Well, that's
I know it all depends on the rotation of the planet, so
1 day and 37 minutes. Barely longer than one Earth day. But still a little bit longer. You trip a little bit longer on Mars.
yeah. But then the workday lasts a little bit longer, and yeah.
But then you get more done, and you have more
Weekend
time to
lasts a
party on the
little
weekends.
longer.
Yeah. There are some like physicists, just because they're like so wacky, like they have tuned their sleep schedules to like that of Mars
Another
or like
planet.
another planet, just to like they argue it's more productive to like work like a 26-hour day or something, and so they'll change their schedule to that. I forget which one it was that did something like that in particular. Some
People changing their schedule like that because they believe that it's better, but I mean, I don't know about tuning it to planets' rotation cycles.
How would it be better? I
Yeah.
mean, I would just be sleeping more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, they're constantly like on a shifting, cycle where like we normally might wake up say 8 or 9 a.m. every day. They're doing like, well, they're gonna go to bed at 12 today and wake up at 8, but then tomorrow they're gonna go to bed at 2 a.m. and then wake up at 10, and then,
Yeah,
4
because
a.m.
it technically is supposed to be more hours, but that's the
Yeah,
funny
so-
thing about the concept of time is that it doesn't really matter what unit of measure you use, it's all the same amount.
It's
The
the same amount
quantity
of
will
time. But
always be the same.
they're arguing that you don't need as much sleep in as amount of time, I guess, as we get for our Earth days, and so you can kind of have your attention span last longer and thus get more done in that chunk of time than if you limited yourself to the mere 24-hour day cycle.
I don't know.
Drugs,
I might.
memes.
I'm like, I may just not be getting it, but it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like if
I mean, it's
Especially-
not like something very founded in science and definitely a thing. It's just like this wackadoo physicist like speculation on like
And-
being more productive in his
But
day.
is that physicist like working on his own, or
This physicist might be dead. I read
Oh,
this like
okay.
from a book. I think it was like a chaos theory book, but it was a guy. The author was talking about some other physicist, like around the time of Richard Feynman, if that name rings a bell, but it wasn't him. It was like one of his contemporaries.
Wow. So the guy died because of his
Maybe, probably.
26-hour work schedule.
Yes, he
Working.
died
Yeah.
because of that. Yeah.
he became he became more overworked than the Japanese and threw himself out a window.
Oh man, yeah,
There we go.
yeah. We could have a whole podcast episode about that. The intense Japanese like 100-hour work weeks and stuff. Crazy stuff.
I don't I don't really actually know all that much about it. I just know that it's a thing. And I really don't know why it's a thing, but all I know is that people have committed suicide over it, so probably not such a great thing. But hey,
Yeah.
whoever.
Yep. Well, one of the many caveats that capitalism can bring.
Death?
All the good at death, overworking,
Oh, yeah.
a stringent life, for, just kind of grinning and bearing it and doing, you know, the maximum effort for minimal payoff to some degree.
I mean, hell, I think.
That's probably the biggest downside to it because I mean, would you rather have the work or not, first off? And then is it worth it or not? I mean, and right now it's really that it's just not worth it to have that much work. So that's when you get burnouts and people that don't want to do it and really get tired of it. Just can't handle it anymore, you know? I'm not saying more money will make those problems go away, but I mean, is it even worth it for them? No. Why do you think they're committing suicide?
Well, see, my thing is, it's like, I feel that, well, not all the time, but I mean, I do feel overworked sometimes, but I still keep pushing forward and keep doing more, so apparently it's not bothering me that much.
Yeah, but there is a huge amount of like pressure to probably just to do more and you will just eventually succeed, right? But it's oppressive in that way and people go through bouts of depression and I don't wish that upon anybody, but as someone that has experienced depression and some dark moments, like I can it sucks, but yeah, you can really lose all sense of hopefulness and when your life just feels like you're spending all of it working, then what is the point of life is kind of where that goes and it's really sad that like obviously there's much better aspects to life than that, but it's hard to see that when you're in the depths of a depression.
Yeah. The, I mean, I always thought that it had, well, as far as the Japanese deal is concerned, I always thought it had more to do with, like, just their culture and work ethics and, like, how their society is more than anything, but again, I don't know, so.
Well, that gets into I think the oppressive part where it's even in our society. I mean, in Western society, like it's become more okay with talking about depression and things like that just in recent years, but it's been taboo, to a certain degree in the past so many decades. Like even now, it's still somewhat taboo. Like people don't talk about it enough, in my opinion. But it's definitely, it's a rampant problem that more people should be talking about.
Yeah. But isn't it kind of like the difference in schools, too? Because don't some other countries not, like, how the U.S. has, like, certain hours and stuff that you go to school? And like I had heard that like in another country, like they go to school for like 2 hours or something crazy like that, and then like they don't go to school for as long as we do, because I think it's or more beneficial to the way people learn or children learn. Again, I don't know the whole story behind it, but
For Japan specifically?
no. This is some other guy. I can't remember, but not every country goes to like they don't have the school for the 7 or 8 hours or whatever the hell that like the elementary and middle and high school stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
Any
figure
different.
everything's different. So,
Yeah.
but again, I mean, it depends on what you do for a living too, because some people work when they need to. You know, it's like if you're on salary and doing a particular job that just kind of allows you to do what you do, and then if something comes up, you got to go handle it. Cool, handle it, move on. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, I haven't hit my stress level yet at all with work, so I'm still waiting for that day.
I often deal with a lot of stress, but I mean, I make it through usually. So
No, everybody's different, but the hell were you saying? Oh yeah, no, but I mean, yeah, it's definitely a problem, but I don't really have any solutions or anything for it. So,
For the Japan
well,
overworking.
for anybody that anybody that feels overworked, I guess. But I mean, find a different job. I don't know.
Yeah, there are some jobs
if
that
you
cater
can,
to it, and like, hmm, I don't know. I feel like there's no need. I feel like the 5 day work week is a little bit arbitrary, if not more than a little bit arbitrary. Like,
I haven't known a 5 day work week in a very long time.
well, there you go. But that
So,
is like we call it the weekend. We would say you work on the weekend, right? Because that's seemingly abnormal.
traditional.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, untraditional sort of. Yeah, and like why not change that to a 4 day week for most people and a 3 day weekend? You know?
But you're talking about you're talking about jobs that are already set in that that term of bankers hours. That 9 to 5, Monday
A
through
job would be greatly
Friday
affected.
thing or whatever. You're talking about that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
there's plenty of other jobs that people work in the middle of the night. People work when they
Hmm.
get a phone call. It's not like you're sitting
Generally
in an office
service,
all the time.
though.
Yeah, but exactly like call centers, or I mean, you can't even throw fast food into that stuff because fast food, some of the places are open so damn late. It's like they have different shifts. It's the same
Okay.
thing with
Well,
They
you
work 24/7, 365. There are a lot of places that do, but not everywhere does.
yeah.
yeah, you make a good point. I still maybe another sort of question to sort of softball at you would be the 40-hour work week is also somewhat arbitrary. And it's true. Some people work way more than
Oh
that.
yeah,
Some
absolutely.
people can get away with
Regular
working
basis, yeah.
less than that. And like who has decided that? Obviously it's not some like monolithic decision. It's just funny to me that we have these like seemingly when you really think about them too much, they're arbitrary conventions.
Well, at some point, somebody thought about how much you should work for it to be considered a full-time position at a job. How many hours in a week should you be devoting to working and making money? How many hours does it take for it to be effective for a business to have somebody work? Like, what is a shift? That can vary from business to business. I mean, when you're talking about like going down to a 3-day weekend, 4-day work week, it's more going to be on the personal level than it will ever be on a company level because companies are going to operate how they operate. The people will just have to work how they see fit
Yeah.
to make that company operate.
Doesn't
Yes.
didn't the whole 40-hour work week thing? I mean, doesn't that have to do with like figuring out, who gets insurance and
A
who
lot of
gets
it
this
has
stuff?
to do
Yeah.
with that, yeah, because you have to
Because if
work
you're
so
part
much to be
time,
under
some jobs won't
retirement
offer you
plan.
insurance. They won't offer you 401ks, and
Yep.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
but
that's
you're
exactly. It was all done because of necessity, but was it right or not, which is what I'm thinking you're more leading to, like who decided that this should be a 40-hour work week type of society? Why not a 50-hour work week? Why not a 60-hour work week,
why not a
Something like
30-hour work week?
that. Or the other way. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Why why not a 60-hour work week?
That's what Joe said.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going one way
But
with it, but it could be the other way. But would you have you would then have to be paid more to do less amount of work to be able to make the same income to have the same level of
Well,
life.
see, that's the thing, though. I mean, they have that. It's called a part-time job. You know, you don't work full time. You make less
But you
money.
get paid the same,
But
yeah,
why would you get?
or
See, that's what I
less
don't get.
maybe, yeah.
Like, I don't know why you would get paid the same. I mean,
Well, I'm
yeah,
telling you, same rate,
if
less
yeah,
hours, so you still make less.
less.
So you
Yes,
to be
exactly.
able to work a schedule like that, you would have to literally make more for doing less, and that's the problem.
in order
Is
to
if you're
stay at the same amount,
yeah,
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 to
because
make
if
the same
every
amount in a
well,
year.
if everybody cut their hours, that's more divisions of the output of the company, but it's still the same output for the company. They don't care. So the only way it works for the individual is if you can make more by doing less. If you can't make more by doing less, then it does not behoove you to go from 5 work days to 4 work days. If you're not going to make 10 extra dollars an hour, why would you get rid of a whole nother workday just for a weekend day? That's the capitalistic side of it is that if you're not working, you're not making money.
So I think that's the difficulty of thinking about it and trying to apply it in a as if this were to happen overnight. Like I agree, all these things would have to shift and it would be absolute
Mhm.
madness. But like it is, as we get more and more technology, things have become more and more automated, and we might not have needed you might not need to work as much. Like I think in a capitalistic society, there's so much emphasis on bringing home the bacon to support your family, but like
If you didn't
the
have to.
the government is dealing with enough money, like that I think there is a way to sort of not, people are going to
Ensure
call me
everybody has the
socialist
same
and
needs.
communist, but there are ways of, sort of reallocating and handling money in a way that can take people off the streets. I think we have enough technology, enough resources, and enough money to lift up the people at the very bottom, and also even make people's lives in the middle, like us, more convenient, such as with the automation thing, as I was saying. Like things are getting more automated. We see like automated ordering systems at McDonald's and stuff needing fewer people at
Man hours.
behind the counter doing that, and so that's fewer man hours. And you can argue that yeah, that could be cutting into our jobs. I would argue that's reallocating some of those jobs into different
Yeah.
sectors, but also it's like we're building up all these like niceties of our life. Why not take advantage of that and give ourselves more time to remember to cherish what we have? Fucking YOLO, man. Like we
The
only
only
have
way
one
that
life.
that works though is if you take currency out of the picture. Is if it doesn't cost anything to have a house, if it doesn't cost anything to go get some food or some water or something that you need to survive. I believe if you have a currency in the mixture, if everything's not free for everyone, then it's going to break down. People will get greedy, systems get corrupt. It's just that's the way it happens.
yeah, but then you won't.
But
Eh,
I'm not suggesting anarchy. I'm suggesting a shift in our view of how much of our lives we allocate to work versus how much we allocate to other things. That I think if we allocate more of our time to those other things, we will be able to enjoy life better. We will be able to seek more time to treat our depression if we have that. We will have more time to spend with our families and maybe stave off the depression in that way. Maybe literally more hours of petting the cat, over my lifespan will make me happier because I'm not sitting behind a computer trying to make more money for my company that I'm working for, which is a good and noble thing. Don't get me wrong, but should
yeah, but
if we can shave off some of that time and reallocate it to our personal lives, why
are
not?
you really trying to make more money for your company, or are you working as much as you are because you're trying to make more money for yourself or for your family? Because you need
I
it to
mean,
survive and have nice stuff.
that's like the argument behind there being no true philanthropy, right? Like, right, we're not doing
Yeah.
it just for that, but some people I think really do care about their companies. Like
Oh yeah.
they care about them Like
I would
there's
hate to
the
see my company go under because that would mean that I would lose my job. I mean, quite simply, my income currently is tied to the success of my company. The more they make, the more I stand to make from it, one way or another. If the
yeah.
company keeps going, I keep my job, I keep making money. If the company goes under, that's my income source. I got to now find something else to do. So it is inherent that the employee should care about the company.
Yeah, but we also know that like manager, that stereotypical manager that's like, we're all a family, right? And like some of that's just like, fuck off. But like, but I'm sure some of them actually feel that way, you
Yeah.
know?
I
No, I
enjoy the
mean that's
people that I work with. Like genuinely, I would not like any of them to, be let go or anything because they are good people. They do a good job at what they do, and that's that. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of feel that way about my job. I mean, it's not the best job. Some days I hate it. Rob will tell you that I complain all the time about it, but that doesn't negate the fact that it's a good job with a good company. So, I deal with it. And I think a lot of people feel the same way.
yeah, I mean I have that what you were just talking about, Scott, with the whole, family kind of environment thing at work. It's like, yeah, I mean I do think that that is a good thing and that it makes sense. I mean, better than coming down on your subordinates or employees or whatever. To the point where if they do have an issue or do have a problem, they don't feel like they're gonna want to tell you about it anyway because you're just gonna yell at them. So, I mean, that's not productive at all.
Yeah, there is an incentive to
So there
cultivate
has
a,
to be, whether you're the boss or the underling, there has to be some type of camaraderie, or it's just not going to work.
yeah,
I mean, I guarantee you, any place that has a manager that doesn't treat everybody as equal to them on a personal level, they probably have a lot of turnover.
yeah. But it is also like a meme that echoes around the internet that's like just shitting on the whole idea of managers that say we're a family, right? It's like no, not really. Like it's a little more not cutthroat, but it's a little more like pragmatic, as Joe pointed out. Like you're doing this so you can make money and like buy a jet ski or also eat food, whichever is more important to you.
Yeah, jet ski definitely. Fuck food.
Obviously, all day, every
Absolutely.
day. Yeah,
The hell with food,
Uh,
man. Who needs food?
yeah. I mean, you won't even live long enough with a jet ski to need food.
What what have you seen people doing with jet skis, Scott?
that they
Dude,
die.
have you met my brother-in-law?
Yeah,
Have you met
right.
my brother? Dude, my one of my first handful of experiences being tubed behind a jet ski. I like flipped
No.
3 times and like my eyeballs almost got stuck out of my sockets.
Wait, tubed behind a jet ski?
Yeah, like you do behind a boat, but a
Yeah.
jet ski. It's got more, you know, maneuverability and like a quicker turning radius, so you can really whip them around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would figure that it's got to be hell for. Well, again, you're Wave Runner, right? The one you sit down on.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, not the little stand-up
stand
ones.
up one. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
a
I was gonna
ski.
say
Yeah.
that's got to be hell for the fucking person driving that jet ski, pulling a tube behind him.
Oh yeah, that would suck. I don't
I
even know
mean,
if
hell,
those
could you
things have the
imagine if
power.
like you took a turn and then the tube went this way? It would like the force would just pull the jet ski out.
Everybody would be off.
Yeah, that would not
Yeah.
Not just
work.
the person on the tube.
Just the sheer physics of it, man. Hell, I don't know. Oh, what was where did I leave off the other day? Oh, getting back on point, the media servers. What I was talking about,
Medias.
yeah, when I was talking about my little project that I was like, the initial
Hmm.
Raspberry purchase was actually I didn't. I just wanted the fucking Raspberry because I thought it was cool. So, but
As good
yeah,
a reason as any.
yeah. But what I was talking about with the with putting using the Arduino and trying to figure out that to make my computer turn on, which wouldn't make a whole lot of sense because I would have to. It's pretty much at some point I would have to figure out Wake on Land for the Arduino, and why not just do that on the computer? Not that I think it's all that safe, but whatever. But anyway, yeah, my whole app thing to be able to run all this, to log in, turn your computer on, what do you call it? You know, boot it up, all this stuff, whatever, and then also stream it to a phone or tablet, whatever. So you could watch a movie on your computer or off, you know, that was playing from your computer on your phone as easily as you can pull something from Netflix and watch it without having the lag and the buffering stuff or whatever. But I was looking into media servers, like turning this thing, or either turning this one or building another one just as a media server, but they have like programs for that, which I still haven't quite figured out yet. Mostly because I don't mess with it and I'm lazy, but you know, hey.
And how
It's
do the
pretty plug and play with the PlayStation as far as accessing the network drive I have, because it sets up the network drive sets up its own media server. You know, all that has to do is be connected to the router.
Yeah.
So
Well, Windows has an option to be set as a media server, but
yeah, it has its own built-in media server.
but I
believe it
haven't been
uses
able
the
to get it to work.
DLNA.
Yeah, that's like I have to find an app to put on my phone to be able to access it.
what is that doing to do that? Is it like dedicating a specific port to a media stream kind of thing? How does that work?
I
The
believe
media.
so. I believe that's the idea, is that it
I don't
just
really
opens
know.
the port to connect to another device and then streams data through that port.
Yeah, because I know I forget what the hell they called it. There's a, damn it, I don't have my phone with me. There was a type of program or something that, I don't know. My mind's drawing a blank right now. But out of all the media like center or media server apps and everything, I could not figure out, like, everyone's all like, oh, user friendly, this, that, and the other, and I'm like, I mean, I'm not exactly a moron when it comes to computers, and I'm like, I'm staring at this going, this is going to take too long. I'm just too lazy to fuck with this shit right now. But as far as like, I mean,
Yeah,
I
DLNA,
swear some
yeah.
of them have to, like, you have to have port forwarding and stuff for. But it's like, it's still opening a hole in your firewall to let data in and out. Scott looks like he has a thought.
I don't know. Like I'm wondering if there's a way to like have it automatically make basically like your own web page, like your own URL that you could go to.
You would
But
literally have to host your own domain.
right,
I mean,
sure,
you'd have to pay for it. The media
sure.
server, I think the media server gets around all of that. You don't have to have a URL that you go to or a web page that you go to, because you're signing into your own network, just accessing a service on your own network at that point. So you want some sort of like a VPN connection to your network, and then just an app or a program that'll access a DLNA media server. That's all you really need.
Yes, that. TLNA.
Yeah, that's the type of server that Windows uses at its core service,
Yeah.
basically to serve up media, and that's exactly what my little WD MyBook uses. Is it uses a DLNA server, so it just makes it easy. That's a pretty standard way of streaming video over a network. You just have to have a secure way into your own network and good data reliability, data transmission reliability.
Yeah, but
And for those that might not know, the DLNA stands for Digital Living Network Alliance.
yeah,
Basically, so you
Or-
can plug
or
in any device that's set up
DLNA.
to use it and be able to use it, as long as
An alliance.
it's an alliance.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's like, what do you call it? Damn it. Why can I never think of anything when I want to? What's that, not shit. Like
help
Roku,
us out here.
like Roku and shit like that. There's another one that, God, why can I not think of the name of it? This is gonna drive
Fire
me
Stick,
fucking
Hulu,
nuts.
Netflix,
Chromecast.
Amazon Fire Stick, Chromecast. Apple has
No.
their own too, doesn't it? All the Apple TVs, right?
Yeah.
Are you talking about like the classification of device that a Roku is?
No, it's or like there's one that like everybody uses to like it's like freaking it's a loading program. I mean, you can just like put stuff on there. But
Idea what you're talking
oh, God bless it. I don't know. The name is like it's totally gone right now.
about. Okay,
I'm
well,
gonna sit here and think about it, but it's driving me nuts. I make you bet. I make you bet if I freaking called Mike, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, that." But I keep wanting to call it Voodoo or something, but I don't think that's. Yeah, I don't think I'm even close.
That's a
pretty sure
like
Voodoo software I've heard of, but I don't know what it is exactly.
yeah, it's like it's a streaming service, VUDU.
Yes.
It's like Hulu, but different.
Yeah.
But there was something that people were using, like with the the hacked Fire Sticks, and then like this program to like get movies and stuff for free.
Did it like torrent or something?
No, your
No.
sister was doing it, wasn't she? With the ones.
Okay, let's
My
not out
sister?
people.
Yeah, yeah, Teresa.
I know she has like a Fire Stick and stuff, but I don't know what all.
I think it's Cody is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Cody
K
is
with
the
a K,
media
right?
player.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
That
That comes on Raspberry Pi.
yeah, that is supposed to be that alliance thing or something, or
The
so I was
DLNA,
told.
they
Yeah,
use DLNA.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but that's interesting.
at least I hope it. Because when I was looking for him last week, I think that's what came up.
An open source home theater software. So it does sound like it's
Yeah.
media servers.
But it's all that the UPnP stuff, and I could have swore I saw Cody on there. Yeah, like okay, Plex, Servo, blah blah blah. Seymour, where's everything at? Okay, I know there's more than that. There's only like showing me 7 of them. Play on Plex MB. Yeah, Cody, right there. Cody, boom. Yeah, open source media software. Besides its similar functionality with Plex, Kodi, TopView, da da da. Okay, well, it's not really telling me a whole hell of a lot about it, but apparently it is one of these alliance deals, which I never knew. I just thought it was a place where people got free movies. So, the more you know. But I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to see if there's like software and stuff out there that will already do what I want to accomplish.
Looks like Cody uses an HTPC kind of. It's not DLNA. It's a different kind of service, I guess.
Hmm.
I didn't realize it was like a media service, so never really looked into it myself.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never known like seen a point to it because everything I've ever done has always been local, and I just share drives. So from device to
I
device.
mean, but this is one that apparently, works with all the streaming services, as you may or may not know, I guess.
No, I have no idea.
But so I mean that means it has, the internet working capabilities for sure, though.
No, Maybe I'll go play with that when I get the itch again. But the but yeah, so I've been trying to figure out if there's stuff that I can that's already out there that'll do what I want it to do, and just kind of go from there. But I mean, eventually it would be cool to have everything like in one. Sorry, there was a bug. Uh, in one app, the whole turn on, connect, access, play, and then eventually to be able to do the Steam thing. That would be cool. Not Steam. Why did I just call it Steam? Stadia, and actually play games. That would be interesting.
I think that's a different beast though.
Oh,
Still,
absolutely. I would hope it would
it's
be.
not just like serving a movie over the internet. It's serving actual gameplay with input and response. And
Yeah, because then you're not just serving out data. You need to take in the input. You need to have like a server client kind of model, which
Mhm.
Yeah.
adds
Well, I mean that
complexity.
is what media serving is a server client model, but it's not.
But it's yeah, it's all like I would think. I mean, I don't know, but I would think it's kind of set up for the devices you're serving to the clients are just kind of taking in the video data, but they're not necessarily
Yeah.
sending any like
Mhm.
controls back,
Besides
things
like the
left or
pause
right.
plays, that kind of thing. I mean, I don't know how much more difficult it is to take in game, game data versus like controller input versus your play, pause, stop, change audio, subtitles, that kind of thing. I don't really know if there's much difference there.
Yeah, it's a good point. I really don't know because there's so many levels to that. Because like I know with like Fortnite, like in games like that, actually some of the map is like within the client. Like it's not even like the server is actually building that stuff. It's the client building some of those map details and stuff. So I don't know. All that stuff's really complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure on the video gaming. I think that's like I said, I think that just is another beast because of what it is, but which is why companies like Google wanted to do Stadia.
By the time I'm 70 something years old, I will figure it out, and then I'll be like, okay, it's time to die. I'll be
Somebody doesn't beat you there first,
I'll
but
be I'll be happy. Yeah, no, I don't. I really don't know if anybody's even looking into this kind of stuff because I mean I'm not talking about like starting anything off it. I just want to be able to do it with my own stuff. You know,
you're able to do it. Why not market something like that, though? I mean,
well I gotta do it first.
yeah,
If I can make it work on my own stuff, then okay, fine. But we'll see.
I
absolutely.
think doing it purely from scratch is a huge mountain of a task. I think really the only way is some semblance of stitching it together, kind of
No,
like.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I agree. Yeah, yeah. You
And
would use
to
stuff
be,
like Kodi, which is open source. You can use it for whatever you want. The only problem comes in is when you try and sell it and make a profit off of it still.
which you can do that depending on the licensing of the things
Exactly.
you're using, but it
And I'm
all
sure you could
depends.
probably even contact the developers and stuff too, work out your
yeah,
individual licensing. I mean, if it's really going to be an integral part, they may want to work with you on it. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities there, but open source is the way to start because you could just use it and see how it works.
yep.
Yeah.
As I said, isn't that the great thing about open source to begin with?
I love open source stuff, man. It's the best.
Oh yeah.
Not that I've ever done anything with it, but I mean, it just the intent behind it, the sheer
Yeah,
power that something like that can have when you have multiple people saying, "Okay, well, somebody did this. Let me see what I can do with it now." That kind of thing.
yeah. And then you have Apple.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. I mean, this all feeds directly into the right to repair stuff, right?
You got my segue. Thank you.
okay,
Okay.
that's exactly.
Well, it's
Anybody
funny
got a
because
lantern anywhere?
we uh we were talking and you asked if it had any tie-ins to the Apple versus Epic lawsuit thing, and I kind of was just like, no, it didn't. But then I hadn't been keeping up with it. Like I was aware when it started happening about a year ago, but I had not like kept up to the most recent news, and I realized there's actually a huge overlap with the right to repair sort of initiative and what is
Well,
being talked about in this lawsuit about Epic and
most of
Apple.
what and you got to remember too that Epic did have a thing at Epic versus Google before this, so they're
Well, it
kind
was
of
concurrent,
yeah.
or they like happened at the same time, and Google kind of hid in the background. Apple got all the like the negative press, but Google was in it with Apple against Epic, yeah,
Yeah.
like at the same time. And the day that this all like went down, I don't know if y'all know the whole background or like what initiated
My
this.
my understanding was that Epic had an issue with Apple charging them like a ridiculous amount of money or whatever in I guess to be able to put their stuff on iOS
Yeah,
because it was
Yeah,
like a
so
30% charge or something, and
that is what
they weren't
Apple
letting them
does.
use. It was a different like with Epic or Steam or something like there wasn't any something to do with the purchases I guess that you could make in game that had to go through one of Apple's I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. You basically
It
got it.
came down
It's
to money.
it came down to, yeah. So the for iOS devices specifically, so things Fortnite downloaded through the App Store and used on an Apple device, there became an option just one day to circumvent. You could like buy your V Bucks, which is the Fortnite currency for like buying cosmetics and stuff.
without going
Uh,
through Apple.
well, no. That currency normally does go through Apple, and they added in a little option to you could pay $9.99 for this many V Bucks through the Apple Store, or you could go through the Epic Store and pay $7.99 for the same number of V Bucks. But Apple was not going to have that, and they shut it down that day. But lo and behold, Epic had a like 60 plus page lawsuit already written up, and they filed it that day when Apple took them down from the store. They filed it for Apple and for Google at the same time. And yes, you're right. It's 30%. Apple does that for all apps on its
Yeah.
store. Is it takes a 30% cut of any income.
That's horrible in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I know Apple's just trying to make their buck off of it too, but like seriously,
Yeah.
that's like
But I mean, it
crazy.
comes down to like what do you call it? What's that? When you like monopolize a market or something?
Like cornering a market.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If that's that might be the term I'm looking for. But it's like everybody either has an Android phone or okay, let me just simplify things. They either have a Samsung or or an Apple or an
Or they
iPhone,
have some
right?
piece of shit. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got a Motorola. I mean,
or something. But I mean, those are like the two big things: is iPhones and Samsung, right?
Yeah, those are the
Okay, but
biggest
you're also
devices.
talking about if you're talking about just the software that runs them, you have iOS and Android. That's it. I mean, what is it?
Pretty
Windows
much.
has their. Well, is that still a thing?
Kind
Is the
of,
Windows
but I
Mobile
mean, it's
still a
a
thing?
joke, just like Windows Mobile has always been.
Yeah, I don't
Nothing
know.
but a joke.
I don't know anybody that uses it. So you have those two players, and then if anybody wants to go and put an app on there, I don't know what. I mean, I know just because of this case that iOS or Apple has been at that 30% margin. I have no idea what uh, Google or Android charge.
they don't
So
to a degree.
yeah, I'm sure they charge something.
I
Yeah, I'm
don't
not
think they
certain
do.
about that. I think if you put an app on and you charge money for it, I think they might get their little cut.
I
Yeah,
don't
If
think
it's
so, but I
free, it
think
might
they
be different.
Linus. I think it was a Linus Tech Tips video that like went over it, but they don't charge, but they make it difficult. You have to kind of go through hoops to be able to get those other currency methods through. Like Google staves them off and makes them like mini clicks away kind of thing to disincentivize someone actually getting through with that, going through with that kind of thing. That makes sense.
yeah, and well,
Yeah.
sort of. But
I'm
the
not exactly following, but
I don't think they take a cut, basically, but they make it harder for the companies to do what Epic did to through the Apple like apps. They make it harder for that to be done, but not impossible. They just disincentivize it and make it many clicks away, I guess, is probably one of the tactics. They do their best to avoid people doing that, but they don't remove apps from their store like Apple did if they are found to be doing that,
Right. Well,
which
heck,
Apple did that. Yeah.
I mean, they try to. So yeah, if they try to circumvent it in their code or in the app itself,
So
then Apple's just going to shut them down anyway.
kind of bringing this full circle. Why? What is it that Apple is claiming they have violated, and why they shut them down, or what is it that Epic is claiming? And
Now you're going to have
Um,
to pull up the whole thing.
well, I mean, I thought that was the whole reason why you brought it up.
yeah, like, well, the lawsuit is basically comes down to deciding what the marketplace is because Epic is trying to argue that Apple has somewhat of a monopoly, but they're actually doing a more complicated version of that and saying that Google and Apple form a kind of duopoly. And because it's hard to show, because Apple has only like 50% of the market share for like devices, basically, which isn't really a monopoly. But if you take that with Google, it
There's only
basically,
one or the
Yeah.
other. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, that comes down to like, I mean, just out of the blue, 90% of the freaking shit that's out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
But
And
I'm honestly not sure that that is really such a bad thing. I mean, they both work very well. You have your choice of either going with Apple, which is a more strict, you're going to use what we give you and it's all ours anyways. So you're never going to own what you have. Or you have Google and Samsung, which all probably have stuff in their policies and terms of service and stuff that says that, technically anything is theirs too, but that's again, age of information and all of that. So, I mean, you do kind of have a choice. It's just what are you going to go with? I mean, there's always going to be demons.
right, but does that give sorry, does that give Apple or should that give Apple the ability to charge such a high percentage just to have
You don't have
an
to be
app
on there.
on their store?
but
And
that's
you
the
don't have to be on theirs. That's my point is that it's not a monopoly, so they're not forcing you to be on theirs. It's just do you want that part of the market share or not?
Which is
I mean,
a very large part of the market. Okay.
yeah,
right.
and
It's
I'm
close
not
enough.
denying.
Right. That's why what Epic is doing is maybe actually kind of smart that they're not just trying to say, "Hey, Apple's a monopoly," because in the past, though, like with IBM, it's kind of funny. Anyway, we'll go back to the IBM thing, but like other companies have had much greater portions of the market that uh, where cases have come out, trying to say that this is a monopoly. 50%, yeah, it's not all that much. But them saying, hey, but if you take Google and add that in, it's these two monolithic companies that are basically controlling everything and can kind of call the shots however they want. And they're not even.
All right. IBM, go. We're back. And we're back.
So have y'all seen that little clip? It's like a minute long of Fortnite's 1980 Fortnite.
No, I am not.
Well, it might be. It's just a silly little 1 minute video. But when it came out, I was left with the impression that that was like, that's a little much. Like I am on kind of on Epic's side in this, but I'm like, that was a little whiny baby kind of attitude. But then I realized uh, what they did was actually they completely spoofed a commercial that Apple had released way
IBM.
back in the day.
I know what you're talking about already. The
Yeah.
Terminator, the whole thing. Yeah.
Yep. And it was literally like they basically recreated that, but with like Fortnite characters and stuff. So I was like,
I have
actually,
heard about that. I have heard about that. Yeah.
I was like, actually,
I have not
that's
seen that.
pretty clever. I thought it was like them being whiny, but they're actually like saying, hey, look, you bastards, y'all did this not too long ago, and now you're kind of doing it to us.
Mhm. Those with power seek for only one thing, and that is to not lose that power. Now that they've got theirs.
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
it's all money. How do you how do you take a $1 trillion company and make it more trillions of dollars?
It goes back to what I said before with Scott is that really won't have the whole, people just doing what they can for everybody rather than doing for themselves until there's not a such thing as currency anymore. Until we don't have to fight for everything between everybody, it's just not going to happen. There will always be greed until everybody has whatever they want, whatever they need.
Which is never
Forgive
gonna
me for
happen,
even
by the
making
way.
this association, but think Star Trek replication technology. All you need is power, and you can have anything you want. Something like that. I mean, that would solve a bunch of problems that this world and these people have.
Wait, what do
So we
we?
need a holodeck.
No, replication technology. Holodecks, I mean, they are part of the same technology. We're not gonna get into this, but
Why not?
Oh, come on! So we're
I
not
mean,
getting it. We're not getting into holodecks and replication technology, just like we're not getting into cheese dust.
I
I mean,
mean,
The other one.
we can tackle these topics at some point, but that's not.
I
Alright.
could definitely totally go off on a tangent about the movie Wally right now
Mm.
There you go.
and tie it back into a previous topic that might have something to do with cannibalism or not.
Okay. So yeah, we've been going for over an hour. Everybody, if you're still watching, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications so you can see when we post the next one. Generally about like a 2-week schedule, so who knows? We might go it up to a week. It seems like we like to talk for about bullshit anyway. So yeah. Anyway, turn in next week for or next 2 weeks for Wally and Cheese Dust. All right. Thanks for watching.